hotel, and it was a heck of a deal.
So you got to spend, what, an additional 3-4 days?
A week.
Well, you were there a full week, but you were there how much earlier than the team got there?
Oh, gosh. I don't even know. We got there on we left Sunday morning, and then our team might have been there on Wednesday or something like that. I can't remember. Right. But it was great. We did reports from the road.
Yeah.
On our trip. Those were interesting.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they were.
We had a good time. Hey, this is Sports Talk Tonight. We are streaming worldwide on Newstalk, KGVO.com. On the AM side of the dial, 1290, over on the FM 101.5. Like us. Follow us on Twitter at Sports Talk Back. Give us a shout. Area code 406-721-1290. A couple guests tonight, Denny.
Yeah.
Our first guest we'll have after the first break, Shawn Wells. He is with Big Sky Kartway here in Missoula. We're going to talk about Outlaw Karts, which
you gotta take a look at these if you haven't seen them on the website yet. They are the oddest looking little thing. They look like some mini jet fighter from another planet. And Shawn probably hopes they go that fast at times too. But I mean, he'll tell you about this. But I mean, kids as young as like 5 and 6 years old racing these things.
Oh yeah. They got more what's than I have. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Adrenaline junkies.
That's right. Adrenaline. That's what they have more of.
Yeah.
And then and also our second guest of the evening, Tony Banovich, the executive director of Run Wild Missoula, and he's also the race director of the Missoula Marathon that we had here this past weekend. We're going to talk with him and see how that went down. And
a little bit easier to book him after the marathon than it was before the marathon. You think they had enough going on with how many thousands, Tony? About 8,000 or 10,000 runners, 6,000 runners, and plus all the volunteers and everything.
Wow. Yeah. So good times. Good times.
Should be good.
Denny, what happened this week? What happened in your world of sports?
Well, let's see. One of my all-time favorite NBA players retired.
Tim
Duncan. I kept thinking, was Tim Duncan allowed to retire? I mean, didn't they just kind of mummify him some way and he's going to play forever? It seemed like that.
He said it just wasn't fun anymore.
I even remember him at Wake Forest. I enjoyed watching him play when he was a college guy at Wake Forest. But yeah, that was pretty big.
One of the all-time greats, that's for sure. A surefire Hall of Famer.
Major League Baseball All-Star Game, the subject of our trivia this evening when we get to that.
Boy, a little bit of controversy last night at the All-Star Game, huh?
Go into detail for us, please.
What was it? The Canadian, they were doing the Canadian National Anthem, and members of I can't remember what the name of that group was, but had a sign with Black Lives Matter and stuff, and then they changed some of the lyrics in the O Canada song, and just, I've got no opinion on the matter, but just really, really, really
not well received.
No, it wasn't.
Put it that way.
Interesting. The Ale won 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
I did not watch a single lick of it, but I did watch the home run derby the night before.
Did you? I didn't watch that either.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's probably as much fun as the ball game. The way they set all that stuff up.
They're doing it different now. They got them on a time limit, and then you can get bonus time if you hit them. A couple of them,
kind of like a shot clock, I guess.
Yeah, and it was great.
Cool.
Half of those guys, their swings for the second half of the year are going to be totally screwed up. Because now they're just going to be, you're going to have that loop on their swing, and they're going to be trying to jack it out of there every opportunity.
Yeah.
Hey, Serena Williams wins.
That's a good story.
Her 22nd
tied
Grand
Steffi
Slam.
Graf.
Yep, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Serena Williams, and I don't even know how old she is.
I want to say 36,
which is really old for a tennis player.
Yeah.
I mean, once you hit that 30, But more and more though, you got Fedorov and Andy Murray's not young, and Serena's not young, and they're still doing it.
They are the Tim Duncans of professional tennis, you might say.
They are.
But hopefully they'll stick around for a while.
British Open this weekend
over
there at the Royal Troon Golf Club, so that'll be cool. I love the British Open.
Our head men's basketball coach, Travis DeCure, got a little bit of a bump in pay, so congratulations to him.
Did he?
He did.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. Terms undisclosed. Well, no, that's not true. I just can't remember the exact figure, but they gave him a nice vote of confidence and increased his salary.
Well, he deserved it. Not that here's the keys to the Cadillac. Don't crash the car.
No. And it's one of those deals that if he has a huge year and somebody comes calling, it doesn't matter if the University of Montana gave him a little more money, the kind of money that somebody would come with from a bigger program. That would negate that totally. But I hope he at least Wayne Tinkles and gives us 7 or 8 years. But they're at least making the effort, stepping up and saying, hey, we believe in what you're doing.
Yep. I was down in the stadium yesterday. playing catch with my kid.
Oh, no kidding.
We were doing drills.
Wonderful.
And you know what? Greg Sundberg's right. That turf is getting old. I mean, it's wore down and pushed down, and I when he said that a couple weeks ago when he was on the show, I was like, really? I mean, is it? It's not. It's worn. Yeah. So
this is field. It's not Sprint Turf. Sprint Turf was the original. This is Field Turf, a different brand, right? Does this one still have little black rubber balls that bounce up when you step all around?
Yep. Still the black little rubber pieces.
Well, I think we're just waiting on the Board of Regents to say, go ahead, guys. They're supposed to do that this month.
Yeah, and the board up there is huge. The new video screen.
I got to get over there.
Taking a look at that. And, but I tell you what, just when you think that you can't get any better, it just keeps
gotta keep
keeps
getting
happening.
Better, Gurns. Not like this show. This show doesn't have that kind of ethical standard, but the University of Montana football program does. You got to keep getting better.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Well, Denny,
trivia time.
Let's hit the trivia.
May I have a phone, please? I forgot to fetch my phone there.
From the 1970s.
Yeah. Those ones at the rotary dial, those are hard to find. You got to take care of those. So, Sports Talk Tonight Trivia is brought to you by Fuddruckers, world's greatest hamburgers. You start with the best, you top it yourself. They call out your name, you come pick it up, and then you go pile it on. And they want you to try their new one at Fuddruckers. This is the half-pound bison chipotle burger. 100% all natural lean bison, southwestern spices mixed in, topped with smoky chipotle chilies and pepper jack cheese, and you load that baby up. Also, by the way, I don't know that I've even mentioned that this summer yet. I should have. You can take Fuds to go. You got a picnic, a barbecue, a family reunion, or whatever. They will supply you with all the beef with that special Fuddrucker seasoning in there. And, give you the buns and all the toppings you need, and then you just cook it up yourself wherever you go. Yeah, from Fuddruckers on North Reserve. Also from Brent and the Crews at Happy Days Car Wash, 2 locations. They're on Brooks across from Dairy Queen, and on Brooks out by the Guest House Inn, a deluxe car wash from Happy Days, and 2 reserve seat tickets to Missoula Osprey Baseball. We got you a Saturday night game, folks. That's going to be the one a week from Saturday, July 23rd, the Osprey taking on the Ogden Raptors. So, as usual, a fabulous prize package at 721-1290 if you know our trivia. As Gurn started to talk about there a little bit, Major League Baseball All-Star Game last night. American League picked up its 4th win in a row, 4-2 in San Diego. Now, in the past 30 years, I don't know, Gurns, if this would be a lot or a little. We can discuss it when we get a winner, but in the past 30 years of the All-Star Games, there have been how many shutouts?
Oh, boy.
A, 1, B, 2, or C, 3. In the past 30 years of the All-Star Game, how many shutouts? A, 1, B, 2, or C, 3. We need your answer at 721-1290.
All right. Well, get that correct answer in here. Shutouts in the All-Star Game. Interesting. Well, anyways. Hey, when we come back, our winner and also Shawn Wells from Big Sky Kartway here on Sports Talk Tonight.
Now back to Missoula's Sports Talk Tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
We are back. Sports Talk Tonight, brought to you in part by Orange Street Food Farm, locally owned and operated grocery store featuring the freshest fruits and vegetables, fresh meats, and a great beer and wine selection. And by Grizzly Liquor, located downtown next to the Iron Horse. Big Sky, big selection, and online at grizzlyliquor.com. No winner yet, Denny.
No, I didn't think it'd be that tough of a question, but we're still looking for a correct answer at 721-1290 for the $10 Fuddrucker certificate, the Happy Days Car Wash gift card, and 2 tickets to Osprey Baseball. 721-1290. In the past 30 years of the All-Star Game, there have been how many shutouts? A, 1, B, 2, or C, 3. All right? Yeah,
I was going to say 0, but I guess
that would be wrong.
Yeah.
No, and I'm sorry, you do not get the prize package. 721-1290. We are waiting for you on Sports Talk Tonight Trivia.
Well, while we wait for that winner, why don't we get to our first guest and welcome to the show, Shawn Wells from Big Sky Kartway.
How's it going?
It's going good, man. How you doing?
Oh, just living the dream.
Oh yeah. You know what? And I asked a foolish question, and I'm not even gonna repeat that question. But tell us about Big Sky Kartway, where it's at, what's going on. I didn't even know that was even I didn't even know that was around.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't know. We've been racing in Missoula, dirt track racing. We started at the fairgrounds years ago, racing in the bull arena with not carts, but quads and bikes. And I brought the first outlaw cart to town probably about 2000, and we raced there. And then Paul Hagen built us a racetrack out there, and 7th mile high banked clay dirt track, the real deal. I mean, and now we've got, I would say in the area, we've got over 100 race cars, and it just keeps growing and growing, and it's some high-speed, high-flying, dirt-slinging action.
Oh, yeah. And now, are these outlaw cars? I mean, they're not go-karts by any stretch of the imagination, but in a way, though, kind of fancy, souped up.
Yeah, if you take the roll cage off, the wing off, the bodywork off of it, take the big full containment seat out of it, it's a go-kart. And we add all that stuff for performance and safety, and people ask if those wings really do any good, and I'm telling you what, I've ran it without a wing, and it changes the way that car drives. And at 70, 75 miles an hour on that track, that wing makes a big difference with downforce and side force.
Now, 70 to 75 miles an hour, that's how fast we're talking about here?
Yeah. Our little track's a 7th mile. The straightaways are, about 140 feet long, and we're going into them corners at all of 70 miles an hour and sideways and throwing dirt.
Wow. How many cars do you have on the track at one time?
The main events will vary, but anywhere from 16 to 20, 22 cars at once. Yeah,
Holy cow.
It gets exciting and fast and furious like you read about.
Oh man, that is a ton of action. Hey, Shawn, let's take one quick little break here. Let's get to our trivia winner.
Yeah, real quick. It's Justin Hubbard from Missoula. How you doing tonight, Justin?
Doing well. How are you guys doing?
Oh, very good. We appreciate you being a part of the Sports Talk Tonight family, and we'll hurry along here so we can get back to Shawn, our guest. Major League Baseball All-Star Game last night. American League won its 4th in a row, 4-2 in San Diego. In the past 30 years of the All-Star Game, there have been how many shutouts? Is that A1, B2, or C3? What do you think there, Justin?
I'm going with C3.
The last time the National League won, that was an 8-0 shutout. That was in 2012. But then you go back to National League 6, American League 0 in 1996, and then National League 2, American League Zip in 1987. And that one actually took 13 innings. So I don't know, 3 out of 30. Is that a lot of shutouts, statistically speaking, or you got a crink in your neck, or are you just trying to listen closer to Justin over there?
I'm listening to Justin's words of wisdom here. Right. 3 out of 30 is not crazy, but you'd think in an all-star game, with all the hitting you've got going on, all the top hitters, you'd think that there wouldn't be any, but apparently there's been 3.
There have been 3 in the last 30 years. I mean, there have been more than that. So, Justin, you got it right. We really appreciate you listening to the show. I got all your mailing address information, so we'll get your Fuddruckers certificate, your Osprey tickets, and your Happy Days car wash mailed off to you, all right?
Excellent. Cool, guys. Good job on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Justin. Really appreciate you, too. Justin Hubbard, our latest winner there, Gerns.
Cool. Thanks, Justin. Hey, back to Shawn Wells with Big Sky Kartway. Let me catch you up, Denny.
Yes, please.
It's a 1/7 of a mile. The straightaways are 140 feet. These carts are going 70 to 75 miles an hour, and there's anywhere from 16 to 22 of them on the track at a time. Which is crazy. Is it? How many wrecks do you have? I mean, do you have a bunch of rubbing, or is it?
Oh, there's lots of rubbing, and some nights are better than others. And I've been upside down several times this year myself already, and it's quite a ride. But we have all the safety equipment. The full 5-point harness and arm restraints and neck restraints and head restraints, and we've got kids out there racing that are 5 years old. They go out there and they tear it up just like us big boys. Jaden Lindsley, he's 5 years old. He just started. And we got 6-year-old Blake Fackler, and they're just little bitty guys. Them little seats they put them in are so cute. They're just tiny little seats, and they got all their gear on, and they get out there and they race and rub, and and eventually they'll work their way up through. We've got several kids that have come up through the ranks and started in the box stocks, which have like the lawnmower Briggs Stratton type motors, and up to the opens, they're 80 horsepower plus 500 cc fire breathing beasts, and they're amazingly fast. I've raced a lot of stuff in my life, and this is as fast and furious as I've been involved with.
Well, given the half crazy format you described, maybe this sort of answers my question. But as far as the origin of the name, why Outlaw and why Kart with a K?
The World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series they're like the NASCAR of sprint car racing and dirt track racing, and these cars are modeled just after me. If you know what a Outlaw Sprint Car is, it's a full-size 410-inch alcohol-burning sprint car with a wing on it, just like our cars. And they drive the same, they race the same. This is basically an entry-level deal where most people can afford it. I mean, a full-on Outlaw Sprint car is $75,000. These things you can buy used for $2,500. You want to buy a full turnkey race-ready cart with all the options, you're looking about $10,000. But you can do it a lot cheaper, and everybody can do it. We've got families out there. The Weingarts, everybody races but mom. Brother races, sister races, dad races. The Browns with Blake, there's 3 generations of the Brown family racing. I mean, they've been involved in the racing since Garden City Speedway up here. So it's good family fun.
I know I know Mark.
Do you know Mark?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's a flagman, and Blake's racing, and Mom's announcing, and I mean, we got lots of people out involved, and it's really a good time and a lot of fun, and it's
and I think the point that you're helping to make here is that it's really a neat family oriented kind of event.
Oh yeah, you got dads don't want to race, but they'll race vicariously through their children, and
you go fast.
Yeah, it's funny because the dads are we're running around the car, and the kid's in there. He just wants to go, and dad's like, "Oh, you got to remember this and do that, and don't forget this," and he's all it's fun to see, and it's fun to watch the interaction, and it's just good, honest fun.
And the venue, I'll kind of help you draw a radio roadmap here, but if anybody knows where I still want to call it Triple W equipment, but it's RDO equipment now, the John Deere dealer. If you're northbound on Highway 93, just make the right turn there. I want to say right at Meralt's or just
right
past
in front
Meralt's.
of Peterbilt there.
Yeah, right in front of the Peterbilt. That's what I want to say. And you go down what, Sean? Maybe a quarter of a mile,
block
or
and a
couple
half.
Blocks is all.
Yeah, block and a half.
And there is this track. The first time I went out there, because I was calling on Triple W equipment, I looked at that and I thought, I don't.
What's that?
Yeah, it looks like I don't know, kind of a mini Roman Colosseum. I wonder what goes on in there that they won't let us. There's a secret society doing something out here. I got to find out. And it was the kart track. So we know the length of the track and the speeds and all. But how long is an actual race? Do they vary?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We run heat races, and they vary from 8 to 12 laps.
Okay.
If we have a dash, they're usually 8 laps. Main events will run anywhere from 15 to 25 laps. At our big shootout we just had, the main event was 40 laps, and we had to actually stop and fuel. It wasn't like a NASCAR pit stop. We stop, and the drivers got to get out because the fuel tank's underneath their knees. So, but,
oh boy,
the track is
everybody has to put in a couple bucks for gas. It's
but
very relaxed.
It's banked. This thing's banked up quite a bit. It's 15 degrees, and when that clay's tacky, you go in there wide open 70 miles an hour, and you don't lift, and
it's now those shorter races. I mean, I'm assuming that you got all these carts out there. You got to get out. You want to get out quick, don't you?
Oh yeah, you don't wait for anybody. We don't have any mirrors or any of that stuff, so you just and the shorter races are heat races, and they're qualifiers for the main event. Sets up the lineups for the mains, and you just make hay while you can make it, and hope you make enough, and because that sets you up.
Yeah.
That sets you up for the main event, and like I say, we've had the kids come up all the way through, and they're tough racers. I mean, us old guys used to be, guard the door, and now it's the kids, and our track champion right now is Jake Rhodes. He's 16.
Wow.
And the kid leading the points right now is 13 years old. That's James Setters, and those kids have come up and racing, and they're tough to beat. Well, perfect example is Kyle Larson. He's driving NASCAR now for Chip Ganassi, the number 42 Target car. I actually raced against him in Knoxville, Iowa at the Outlaw Kart Nationals, and he beat me. But
that's okay.
You know, he started in the Outlaw Karts and worked his way up through, and now he's racing in big leagues, and there's lots of kids that can do it, and there's a lot of big-time drivers like Tony Stewart and Joey Saldana and a bunch of these outlaw drivers that have raced these karts, and they're like, man, are these things wild and out of control, you know? And they say anybody that can wheel one of these karts can wheel anything, and so there's a lot of people out there looking at these outlaw karts and the guys that are racing them, and you know, looking for the next big thing.
Sure.
And a lot of them come from the outlaw karts.
Now you said you just had a big event just recently. What do you got going on the rest of the summer?
Oh, we've got about another 7 nights of racing. July 22nd, 23rd, that's a Friday, and a Friday night, Saturday night, that's our next race. August 5th, then August 20th, September 10th, and then our year-end finale is September 23rd and 24th. And we all start racing at 7 p.m. on all those nights. And
if somebody wants more information on this, do you guys have a website?
Yeah,
is there
you can go to on Facebook. We got bigskykartway.com or Big Sky Kartway. It's spelled with a K, kart, you know. And we got bigskykartway.com website you can go to also and get all the info.
Right.
So
cool.
Yeah, but it's $8 to get in, and it's usually
that's a hell of a deal.
Yeah. It's usually a 3-hour show, you know.
Okay, I was going to ask that, but what's the time commitment on it? So.
Yeah, you know, depending on how much carnage goes on and how many cautions we have and how much cleanup we have to do, you know.
now, Shawn, do a lot of these races? Is there a circuit for these folks, or are these just all kind of locals who this is the one and only place they compete?
Oh no, there's kart racing is kind of taken over nationwide, and tracks are popping up. This all started in California back in the 80s. Some guys were getting together and racing go-karts in somebody's backyard, and the guy shows up next week with a bigger motor, and the next week with a bigger motor. And they're wrecking. So the next guy shows up with a roll cage, and the next guy shows up with a wing on top of his roll cage, and they're gathering people, and pretty soon the guy's like, hey, you know what? We might be onto something. And so QRC was born. They're a factory, and this thing, I mean, we had racers from Texas. We've had racers from North Carolina. There was a big race at Millbridge Speedway, North Carolina. Some of these races are paying some big money. California's got a race coming up, Outlaw Kart Showcase. Kyle Larson's putting it on. I think it's $5,000 to win.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and it's taken the nation by storm because they're fast, they're furious, and they're about the best bang for the buck for speed in the race cars you can get. And I've raced everything from go-karts to $100,000 drag cars, and these karts are keep your attention at all times.
There you go. There you go.
Well, it sounds like a blast. Heck of a way to spend a weekend night, you know.
Exactly. And this weekend coming up?
No, next weekend.
Or excuse me, next weekend.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Friday and Saturday. Racing starts at 7.
Yep. And Sunrise Saloon supplies the beverages, and the Wild Weenie supplies the food, and you have all the amenities and all the entertainment you can stand for 3-4 hours.
Cool.
There you go.
Cool. Well, hey, Shawn, thank you for coming in. If you guys, like we said, over there kind of behind Maralt's Peterbilt area over there, that's the track, and check them out on Facebook, and get out to Big Sky Kartway.
Hey, I appreciate it, boys.
You bet. Shawn Wells from Big Sky Kartway, Montana's premier outlaw kart track. And when we come back, we will have Executive Director of Run Wild Missoula and the Race Director of the Missoula Marathon, Tony Banovich, on Sports Talk Tonight.
Sports Talk Tonight, live from the KGVO studio.
Missoula Sports.
We are back. Sports Talk Tonight. Hey, athletes of all ages are welcome to visit Operation Mouthguard for a free custom mouthguard. The event is taking place at Dennehy Orthodontics at 521 Southwest Higgins Avenue in Missoula next Wednesday, the 20th, from 8 to 4.
Right.
They are asking that all interested to schedule an appointment through their front desk. The reason for Operation Mouthguard is to keep our local athletes safe, so they will receive a custom mouthguard and education to hopefully increase awareness about their importance. And if you want to make that appointment, please call 728-0397.
Man.
That is 728-0397. Dennehy Orthodontics, and that is next Wednesday from 8 to 4 p.m.
That is a heck of a generous offer.
That
when
is.
you think about it. I mean, how many kids potentially could come in there? So, hey, 521 South Higgins. If you do need that information again, we've got it up on all of our station websites. You can visit Newstalk, KGVO.com. I imagine it's still on the first page, but if not, just type in mouth guard in the search box. It'll pop right up if you need more information on that. But that's we wanted to get that in because by the time we're on the air next week, the event will be over. So we figure we better toss it in there at least once, huh?
Hey, we'd like to thank Shawn Wells from Big Sky Kartway.
Yes, sir.
Out there at the Y for coming in and talking about karts and rubbing and racing.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy. And he is.
I don't think they get quite as wild at the Missoula Marathon, as those guys, but who knows?
Nope. And Shawn is, as always, is brought to you by Parkside Credit Union. We like to say yes. Visit their new location next to Applebee's on Highway 93 South.
Excellent.
And that brings us to our second guest of the evening, Tony Banovich, the race director for the Missoula Marathon and the executive director for Run Wild Missoula. Welcome, Tony.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
How's it going? Did you run down here just to get here?
Well, yeah, how do you get around town if you're not
sure.
running? Yeah,
I'll tell you
there was racing, but there was no rubbing going on today.
All right.
That is the best way to get around town these days, probably, is running.
Well, coming up reserve, I was thinking I could have gotten here faster.
Holy cow.
Yeah, try Missoula to Lolo next, and maybe a little Florence to Stevensville. That'll get your attention, too. So.
Got a nice pathway to run now.
Well, yeah, almost. They're getting there. They've got a, I think they want to do a grand opening and ribbon cutting ceremony and all of that this Saturday for the I don't know what you call it. If you call it the annex or just the extension of the bike trail. So hopefully everything will be up and running and ready to go by then. The bridge won't be over preserved, but the trail and all that's supposed to be. I think everybody knows what Missoula Marathon is, Tony, especially since it just occurred this weekend. But tell us a little bit about Run Wild Missoula. Yeah,
so Run Wild Missoula, we're the local running club here in town. We're here for runners and walkers of all ages and abilities. That's part of our mission. We've got about 1,600 members, so if in a community this size, that's a big club.
That's a lot.
And we've got a lot of active members. Not all of those are active day to day, but we see them all out there, and a lot of them are out there this weekend doing the Missoula Marathon and taking advantage of the big show in town last weekend.
6,000 people.
Yeah, and do you break that down? You must be able to look at the entry forms or whatnot. How much of that is local or what you would consider the metro area, and how much of that is out of town, out of state, out of country? I was told every state in the union was represented.
Yeah, we had all 50 states. We had 10 foreign countries. We had people from Denmark, Switzerland, Germany, Canada. We had about 60 Canadians come down, Hong Kong. We just draw people from all over the world. They hear about it. I like to believe we do one of the best events in the Northwest, and people. Well, and
you've been you've been awarded or acknowledged accordingly too, I believe.
Yeah, in 2010,
brag on yourselves a little bit.
Yeah, 2010, the Runner's World Readers named us the best marathon in the United States, and which is a big deal. Of all the races in the country, they picked us, so we were pretty excited, and that was what really put us over the top. And now people just keep coming back because we try to do a good job, and people love the area. People love to come in. And
is that part of it? I mean, you obviously, when you started doing this, did not set out to be the best. That's nice, but I'm sure you didn't go, we're going to put on a marathon that's going to get voted the best. But how does that happen? I think you just maybe talked a little bit about how that happens. I suppose the scenery, the weather this time of year, for early July. Missoula, Montana's not too bad of a place to be, especially this past weekend. But what all goes into that? How did it happen?
Sure, part of it's the course. We've got this great area out here. We start out in Frenchtown. You got the rural area. The alfalfa fields right now, they're all irrigating, so it's spectacular green out there. You got Mount Jumbo and Mount Sentinel in the background, and we go along the river. So that's the first thing. You got this great amenity, but more than anything, we're a small community, obviously in the marathoning world, but we try to put it on like a big city marathon. So they get all the amenities. We try to do all the little things that are important to runners, and people appreciate that. And so they get the small town feel, but the big city amenities in the race. And they just love to come here and take part. The community comes out. We've got people out there cheering in their front yards, having barbecues, the whole 9 yards. And they're cheering, and the cowbell's going, and they're playing the boombox on the side, and people respond to it. They get into it, and they want to come back.
I think I think that speaks to the community in there, and there's those kind of things, because you don't exactly have a staff of hundreds And it just amazes me the outpouring of support you get in the form of volunteers. How many volunteers do you end up having for this event?
Yeah, we approach 800 by the time the weekend's over. And I don't even know the whole count because I know we get well over 700 that formally sign up.
Yeah.
But then we get a lot of people that just kind of generically just show up and, hey, I'm here to help. And all right, come on in. Right. And we take them all. Small staff. We've got myself, and then we have 2 part-time people, but we have a great committee of about 40 people to meet all year long.
Yeah.
We'll have next week, we'll actually do our debriefing, and then I give them a week or 2 where it's kind of quiet, and then we get going in August, and we start slamming for next year. And you know that's part of why I think do such a good event, because we work on it all year and cover those details.
Debriefing is what went right, what went wrong, what we need to. I'm sure that you'd think that it's just a static thing where you do the same thing every year, but you probably tweak it, whether bringing amenities or course or whatever. There's probably changes every year. It's
like any other successful sports team or sports event.
Sure.
You're always evaluating what worked, what went wrong, what went right. Mostly what went wrong. We're very self-critical, and because those things, we want to make sure that we make as few of those as possible. Because if we have very few of those, it's a good experience for the runners. Well, and that's what it's about. It's
only been a few days, but how would you assess the 2016 edition so far?
I think we had a great year. The weather helped. We just got spectacularly lucky with the weather. It was overcast, cool. 24 hours later, and we would have been running in a downpour.
Yeah.
So we missed that. The first year was over 100 degrees at the finish. We missed that. So that helped everything when it was that cool and we weren't fighting the rain, but we had that pleasant weather for running. We had a few course records go on. We had some great performances. With all the events, we had well over 6,000 people. And it was just an exciting weekend. Saturday downtown was fantastic. We have a 5K and a kids run on Saturday. We do this expo with, you can buy merchandise. Downtown was just hopping. I mean, you could barely get on the sidewalk downtown between the farmers markets and the restaurants. And, that's the other important part to us. It's a community event. It's not just about our race.
Exactly.
We want to bring people into the community, and we want to make, things good for business and visit the restaurants, visit the stores, hit the hotels.
Yeah, it's called the Missoula Marathon. That's obviously the signature piece, the 26-mile run. But talk a little bit more about those other runs. You've got a total of 4, do I have that right? Or 4 different events?
Sure. On marathon weekend, we start with our beer run, which is we all love the beer run.
Guernsey,
there we go. Something for everybody.
He perked right up.
That's exactly, That's how we, that's the bait. Then we get them hooked after the first beer. Yeah, that's how. And if that's what it takes, that's what it takes.
My God, the director of the run's a con artist.
It's
unbelievable.
Whatever.
I did not expect that.
No, we have the beer run, which is fun. We had almost 600 people show up for that, and that's a free event. Big Sky Brewing does a great job for us. They donated to a free beer for everybody that participated in that. Then Saturday morning we've got a 5K, then a kids run. Then on Sunday we do the half marathon and marathon. So it's a whole weekend. It's not just that one morning. It's a whole weekend of events.
Now, and we're talking with Tony Banovich, the executive director of Run Wild Missoula, and also the Missoula Marathon race director. You could track people's progress online. That how does that work?
Yeah, interesting. So it's a pretty cool technology.
Because I know if mom's running and little Johnny wants to, hand her a bottle of water, he can find out where she is on the course.
Yeah. So we start with they input their projected time when they enter the race, and so that kind of starts the algorithm of projecting where they're going to be and how fast they'll run. And we have 8 mats out there that when they cross, they have a little chip in their number that gets read. And so when that gets read, it says, well, they crossed here, and it recalculates the algorithm and kind of projects their pace, and every mat that they cross, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and but after about halfway, it's pretty darn accurate, and they can get a pretty good read on where mom or dad will be at any given point, and go out and see them.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's to start, it's predicated a little bit on the honor system. Sort of like if you could claim your own handicap in golf, you've got, because you said you have to enter a projected time. Is that correct? You, the runner, the competitor has to do that. So. Hopefully, I don't know if it's an honesty thing or be a realistic thing, but that's where it starts.
Yeah, most of them are pretty realistic. I think about it. A couple of them.
Tuesday.
Inflated. Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah, that's
We got
crazy.
a couple of those. Yeah.
And I'm Wednesday.
They're still out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We still got a few aid stations for them, but.
Oh, that's funny.
What we started to talk about this a little bit, but and you're very pleased with the results, and you got blessed with ideal weather for runners in a marathon. But is there anything that jumps out that you would like to see? Well, how could we get maybe, I don't know, another 500 out of state competitors, or have you gotten any feedback yet from any of the runners that you can take to work with you for 2017? Anything like that at this point?
Yeah, we've gotten some great feedback. We've had a few criticisms, which is fair. I mean, we know we're not perfect and we have our little issues, but they've been very minor. For the most part, we've had some spectacular response.
Yeah.
And so we try to build on that. But yeah, we're always looking at how do we do better about getting people in. We really get a great turnout from the Pacific Northwest. We had well over 500 people from Washington. So we're going to continue to try to build on that. Washington, Oregon, Idaho, some of our surrounding states,
Sure.
into Canada,
Yeah.
Alberta, British Columbia.
Well, you got to get after that low-hanging fruit a little bit. Make sure you got them. Build a base there.
And they can drive here.
Yeah,
'cause
exactly.
one of the issues we have in Missoula is, well, not only hotels, but air travel. We
Yeah.
only have so many airplane seats that we can fill. So if we can get them to drive here, we know we can bring in a few more. And we're always working with Destination Missoula and our hotel industry and even the University of Montana, trying to find ways of how can we put more heads in beds and grow the event a little bit. We know for the foreseeable future it's not going to be a 10,000 person marathon, but can we approach 7,000? Probably.
Exactly,
And we
yeah.
can probably manage that quite well.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And that would be great. And that's another several hundred more people coming to Missoula, spending a few days, spending their dollars, learning about Missoula. And there are a few people that have come and run the marathon, enjoyed it so much that we've had a few transplants come out of it. And so people are so enamored when they get here and see Missoula and see what it's about. It's why we're here. And, pretty soon they're coming. And so, yeah, that's part of why we do it.
Well, yeah. Cool. Show it to them in the summertime, and you got them.
Yeah, exactly.
And no smoke this year.
No fire
knock
smoke.
on wood.
No.
That was fantastic. Air was clear. Air was clean, nice and cool. It was a perfect day.
And of course, this time of year, what are you looking at? 16 plus hours of daylight still. Plenty of time to look around and see the place too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we get started at 6 a.m. and it's
it's broad
at 6.
daylight though. Yeah.
And so it's spectacular. And then people are still out on the street at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and still light. So yeah.
How did you get involved with Run Wild Missoula and the Missoula Marathon?
Sure. So I've been in the sport for, I don't care to tell how long, but it's been a long time. A few years. And so I had been helping with the marathon for 7 of the previous 9 years. I'd been primarily the announcer at the finish line, at the start line.
Right.
It was kind of my main gig, doing a few other things. And about a year and a half ago, the opportunity came up. Anders Brooker, who had been the race director, stepped away. He still helps a significant amount. He keeps me from getting in trouble.
He has Runner's Edge, correct?
Yeah.
Runner's Edge downtown.
And coaches the Missoula Hellgate, and
Right.
he needed to focus on those a little bit more. Eva Dunn-Frobig had been the executive director, and there were a couple of part-time positions, and she had stepped away to move on to some other things. And the board of directors decided to make it one position, combining both, and make it a full-time gig. And I was able to leave my career as a civil engineer, which I'd been doing for almost 30 years, and jumped into my passion. I mean, my passion is this sport. I enjoy all the facets about it, and what the heck, we'll give it a try. And just have been having a ball. I mean, I get to play runner every day. I get paid for it. I get to be around some cool people, great events. It's a spectacular opportunity.
But you probably don't get to compete in this one, right?
No.
But I imagine there's some around the country that you like, that you have personal favorites that you probably get an opportunity to.
Yeah, I've done, since I've been on board, I've been in New York. I've run the New York Marathon, the Chicago Marathon, done a few other events. But my days of competing were great. I had my own level of success, and it was fantastic. But this side of the sport is just as much fun. I mean, and you see that in other sports. You see a lot of players that have the passion for the sport and continued on as coaches. You mentioned earlier you talked about Wayne Tinkle. There's a guy, obviously was a great ball player here, kept on, loves the sport, has the passion. It's the same thing. I mean, this side of the sport now is just as much fun. I have a ball on marathon weekend. I get to hang out, watch all this great stuff happen, and be part of it. It's a lot less painful when you're the spectator and not the participant. But it's I really enjoy it.
Cool. Are there some things on the website? I looked at it a little bit because I wanted to make sure I knew who the contact. I was pretty sure it was you, but I wanted to double check, so I got on the website a little bit. But post marathon activities, are there some things on the website right now that I don't know, prospective competitors in 2017 or just the interested, I should say, could go there and visit and find some interesting stuff right now?
Yeah. So, relative to the marathon, yes. I mean, they can start looking at, what our results are, what some of our basic information is, even for 2017. But, the marathon's our signature event without a doubt. But beyond that, we do another dozen races throughout the year. We have next up will be the River City Roots Festival 4 Mile. Mm-hmm. We do that in conjunction with the Missoula Downtown Association and the Roots Festival. We'll have Diva Day in the fall. We'll have in October. We'll have Sweat House Half Marathon in September. We have a pumpkin run. We'll have a turkey trot. We have a trail race up on Mount Jumbo. So we have a full fall yet to go of races.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that people can do now. We have the last Wednesday of every month, we have a beer run. Again, another.
There it is again, Gurns.
Yeah, Sean, we're ready for you to come. We're going to get you in the sport one way or another. Yeah. If it takes a couple porters to drag you in, that's going to work. And those are great because they're just social. They're not timed. We just go out and go for a little run, have a few beers in one of the pubs afterwards. We have training classes. We have other social events. So, it's we got plenty to do. RunWildMissoula.org. Lots of information.
Well, you're a great interview. We've definitely got to get you back on again and talk about some of those other upcoming events on the local level.
Would love to be back.
Tony, thanks for...
and what is the website again, Tony? I'm sorry.
Yeah, for the marathon, it's MissoulaMarathon.org. For Run Wild Missoula, it's RunWildMissoula.org.
Simple enough.
Awesome.
Good job.
Thank you, Tony, for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Tony Banovich, the Executive Director, Run Wild Missoula, and the Race Director for the Missoula Marathon. When we come back, we'll wrap it up on Sports Talk Tonight with Gurns and Bedard.
Now back to Missoula's Sports Talk Tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
We are back. Sports Talk Tonight, brought to you in part by Bell McCall Ford. Great selection of new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Your low-cost auto dealer for over 100 years in downtown Hamilton. And by Jerry Wessel's Tire Center. Locally owned West Schwab Tire Center provides the best tire value promise. Visit them online at jerrywesselstirecenter.com. And by CHS Mountain West Co-op, Western Montana source for Cenex fuel, feed, fertilizer, clothing, and tack for over 75 years. Crazy days this Friday through Sunday on North Reserve.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Scott Guernsey's Steel of the Week. That brought to you by True North Steel, Western Montana's industry leader in quality manufactured and fabricated steel products. Scott Guernsey, the Steel of the Week.
Well, Denny, my Steel of the Week comes from a website called Yard Barker.
Yard Barker?
Barker. And
right.
I don't know
my
what
dog is a barker?
In the yard.
In the yard? Okay.
Yeah, somewhere. But anyways, it gives you all these interesting stories on the internet. And my Steel of the Week involves Cincinnati. I'm going to just read you this article real quick. Involves Cincinnati Bengals rookie cornerback Corey Tyndall. He learned a tough lesson Monday when he was robbed at gunpoint during a poker game at a Motel 8. According to the Herald-Dispatch, Tyndall and someone he knew were playing poker with a couple of other guys who they only knew by their nicknames at around 1 a.m. when one of those men pulled a semi-automatic pistol at them and saying, "Lay down and give me all your money." Tyndall was then struck on the head twice with said pistol and ordered once again to hand over all his money. According to the report, the two suspects took off with $2,400 in cash, along with 3 cell phones worth $1,600 and the keys to a rental car. Tyndall had reportedly played poker with the two men who robbed him once before. An undrafted rookie out of Marshall, Tyndall signed a 3-year non-guaranteed contract with the Bengals worth up to $1.62 million. Likely he'll think twice before playing poker with such shady individuals in the future. And that is literally my Steel of the Week.
At a Motel 8.
8.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Poker game going on at the Motel 8.
Yeah.
A former motel, I'll see your Motel 6 and raise you 2, I believe is how that happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Steal of the week.
Yeah. All right.
Steal of the week.
Brought to you by True North Steel. I get it. Yeah. True North Steel is Western Montana's industry leader in quality manufactured and fabricated steel products.
And now, my favorite part, I had a little bit of trouble finding the stupid athlete of the week.
Oh, they're laying low on you, huh?
They are laying low, but it's a Cleveland Brown.
They're familiar with your show.
Yes, they are. It's a Cleveland Brown, and it's not Johnny Manziel.
Wow.
Although he's not a Cleveland Brown.
That is the Sports Talk Tonight first. Well, technically, yeah, that's correct.
And this is sad and stupid, and not funny at all.
Right.
Isaiah Crowell, he's a running back for the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cleveland Browns. And he's not, a starter or anything. He's one of those guys that'll be lucky to just be on the team. But he posted an image to social media depicting a police officer being stabbed in the neck. It was a response to fatal shootings of individuals in Louisiana and Minnesota. And how offensive and how stupid can you be to do something and put it on the internet or put it anywhere for that matter?
Do you just expect there's not going to be any repercussion? Or, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. What in the position you're in, what do you expect is going to happen when you do that?
Yeah, and it was a conversation I had, not this particular subject, but with my 11-year-old Cameron. He said something about, it's America's free. We can do whatever we want. And I said, that's true, but there are consequences to some of the things that you do. You can go ahead and do them, but might put you in jail.
People forget that part.
Kind
of overlook that little detail now and again.
So, and to your point, Danny, it's just like, do people think that they can just do and say whatever they want? Yeah. Because you can't. And you shouldn't.
Well, you can, but expect, if I guess my point being that it's got to be obvious to you that there are going to be negative consequences. Now, if you say, well, no, bring it on. I don't care. Well, whatever.
Maybe the guy was.
That's not going to infuriate anybody either.
Maybe he was drunk. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, that's
Maybe he was at a poker party.
He might have been.
Yeah.
He might have been.
Now, what brought young son Cameron to Washington Grizzly Stadium that you, I mean, was there something going on, or you just wanted to go down there and kind of
Oh, we had practice.
All right.
Oh, we had practice.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I put him through the drills.
You're running
Oh, yeah, I mean.
Your rigorous summer camp.
It's like, okay, let's jog 100 yards. I know it's a long ways.
Let's see, Dairy Queen, and then we'll go stand on the field and agree that the turf is getting old. Then Dairy Queen. No,
we got the pizza.
We
got the pizza.
Oh yeah, God, geez,
you know what?
My training. I don't know the training table. I guess.
We were down there and it was let's see, like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and it was yesterday. So yesterday was nice, but it was probably like literally 65, 68 degrees, and he is complaining that it's just hotter than hot down there.
Oh, come on
and now it was shining off the turf, and it was probably a little warmer down there, but I'm like, dude, think of late August, kid, when you got pads on.
Yeah.
It's like, just knock it off. So anyways, we had fun.
Yeah.
We had fun. I had to go give Greg and Dan some crap and, check out basketball camp.
Yeah, and speaking of camps, of course, those are kind of in full swing right now. They'll be winding down fairly soon, but we promise you folks that we'll kind of make it a goal of ours to start swinging the lasso and rounding up University of Montana Grizzly football assistant coaches, if not the head man.
Sure.
Hopefully we can start bringing in one of those per week, because we know that you guys like to hear what they have to say, and it's starting to, people are starting to get the itch. We're less than 60 days away now. Official count would be, what do we got today? 13th, so 18, 49. Let's call it about 52 days, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah,
I mean,
off Saturday night, Labor Day weekend.
And there were guys down there working hard too. I saw him. Tyrone Holmes was down there actually.
Oh, was he?
Working out, and boy, he looks impressive. No doubt, getting ready for his opportunity down there in Jacksonville.
For sure.
And it's an exciting. It's an exciting time. I was watching those kids, and I'm going, man. I go, it's the middle part of July, and you know what? I probably back when I was playing, wasn't even out of bed, at 10 o'clock. And like, man, I wish we worked as hard as these guys do, because we could have been something.
Yeah, you could have been a contender. Now you were a contender. That's all right. So, yeah, we will get them on, and it's starting to get to be that time of year, Gerns, where our thoughts turn to Grizzly football.
It is, Denny. And
I don't know that our thoughts ever really turn away from Grizzly football, but
it is. Like to thank our two guests, Shawn Wells from Big Sky Kartway and Tony Banovich, the executive director of Run Wild Missoula.
Great guests.
Get ready for fall. Get to Access Fitness. You need to be ready for football season. Denny?
We'll see you next Wednesday.
Okay, buddy. I'll miss you. Bye.